Um, Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Like I've been introduced, I am Dr. Jonathan Ososuakpor. It's my pleasure to stand here before you this morning to discuss what Pastor Sobore have told me to do. He has said that the objective actually is to see how we can make a Delta State a state to make it one of the best states among the community of states in Nigeria, and to also ensure that all the economic indicators that makes progress, that makes development are found in Delta State. Unfortunately, I want to let you know this, that Delta State is one of the best states in the world in terms of the things that we have as content in the state. For instance, this is the only state in Nigeria that have 4 seaports. This is the only state in Nigeria that have 3 airports. You may need to know that there's airport in Borutu also. There's Kavos Bay, there's airport there, and there's Osubi and that of Asaba. And again, this is the only state that can link us to the east. It can lead to Port Harcourt, it can lead to Onitsha, and all part of the east, and of course, part of the west. If the Benin Road is fixed, we can pass through here to Ondo. So the state, any state that has international replica is an international state. The only place you have that can bring your mind to is Houston in Texas. They have similar features. Can be accessed by the sea, can be accessed by the road, and also by the air. So Delta State is so blessed that all these natural resources are valuable. And again, Delta State is one of the states that have very rich culture. Somebody mentioned it. Very rich culture. And of course, the people are all, happy people. If you go outside the world, even just in London here, you can see that if you greet your neighbor, he will not answer you. So if you are a stranger to such a journey, you'll be to imagine that what is happening? I will greet my neighbor, will not answer me. They say greeting is not love. But this is a place that a small child passes, you will greet. An old man will see a small child, say, how are you? Everybody greets each other. We are very good people. In fact, you cannot see a worried person or a Delta State get depressed. And you cannot see suicide committed often in Delta State. We are very happy people. And like Pastor said, we have that sense of humor. You can see our people, they are doing very well outside worry. If you go to Lagos, once you introduce yourself as a worry boy or for Delta State, everybody will definitely give you that honor and respect. So I want to thank you for this gathering. Before now, like Pastor said, some of us came to Warri so many years ago, over 40 years. We've been here. We can say that though, after finishing part of our secondary school, we came here to sojourn. And I know that different ethnic people have come to sojourn here. At that time, we don't know who is Ijo, we don't know who is Shekiri, we don't know who is Urobo. All of us are worried people. If we go out those days as young boys, anywhere you go, somebody can pay for your food, and we can also equally pay for people's food. You'll be surprised that your bill has been settled if you go to the restaurant. That's how we're living, until some time came that we had issues. I don't want to go too much into that. I just want people to have a redress. If we want to make Delta State one of the best states, we must have a mind shift. We must change our mind, change our attitude, and go back to the days that we came. Some of us wouldn't have come at that time, but we have brothers and sisters who were here at that time. At that time, we don't look for 3 bedrooms to stay. We can stay in one room and put cross bed to stay. All of us up together as one family. That is how we came to Warri, and that's how we have been. We don't live above our income, we live within our income. Not nowadays, immediately you just become an adulthood, you go and take 3 bedrooms. Meanwhile, you don't have salary to pay rent. Are we together? So we must have a mind shift. We must change our orientation. We must think and go back to the old days, how our brothers, our sisters who came here early, how they behaved. Having said that, Warri, or Delta State, so to speak, there are issues that I need to address. Number one, insecurity is one of the serious issues that we need to address in Delta State. The governor has tried a lot. I was in an occasion with the governor when he said that at least he's a street boy and he has street credibility. And he's very sure that most of the people are not dropping their arms, which is good. So we need to look at insecurity to reduce kidnapping, to reduce armed robbery, to reduce gangsterism. Some time ago, within some of the villages, court boys came up. They were killing themselves. These are part of gangsterism that is still taking place. Governments must look for possible solutions on how to finally arrest all those social ills in Delta State. No investor will want to come to a place where they are not safe. Every investor is looking for a safe haven, a place where they can have peace, where they have tranquility, where they can do their business, go about their business without any fear of intimidation or any fear of being kidnapped. I know the state has given a lot of laws have been enacted. I saw the one that was enacted by the House of Assembly about DEVE, but it is not active. It is just on paper, it is not active. We need to make laws and follow them through to ensure that the laws are followed. And so many laws have been made. Of course, I want to commend the governor for all the various laws that the House of Assembly, all that they have done. But the problem we have that they are not being implemented. So we want to call on the governor to quickly look at the laws, very good laws that they have made, and ensure that they are implemented. That is one. Then on security, I also look at one of the white paper that was done by the governor, was given to him for assent, and that is very overwhelming. That one is so clear that if you are caught with DEVE, you go to jail. I've seen that paper before. I've also seen where, if I involve a community crisis, you have penalties. All those laws, I've seen them. But I'm still calling on the governor to make sure that those things are seriously implemented. Then again, you see, security, we can secure ourselves. We cannot bring strangers to come and secure us. That is why I want to propose. I have said this before. The last time we had a Warri Economic Summit, I think I was one of the guest speakers, and I made government to understand that we can do what we call community policing. Within the various wards that are established by politics, you have Okere ward, you have Shekiri ward, all those wards. We can also make sure that we employ our own people to be community police, to be reporting to the divisional police within their area of catchment. In that case, they monitor them, and they also monitor crime. Nobody can come as a stranger to come and kidnap people in your area without your knowledge. There are people that also partake, connive with them in ensuring that those crimes are committed. So if the governor can look at it, let us have it as a community police. In Nigeria, for instance, if you employ some people as security men there, robe them, give them uniform, give them salary. And in fact, even if government cannot pay, do you know that all the people living there can be paying 2,000, and you are paying them salaries, and they are reporting to the police. Any crime, before you know, the police are aware, and everywhere is blocked, they cannot move. It happened once in the place when we did a local one, and some people came to rob. We blocked express, blocked here, they could not go anywhere. We held them like, snail, very easy. This is one of the systems I think the governor should look at very critically. Let all the wards along Delta State employ this as community police, give them some working tools, and I think that there will be total tranquility in Warri. Having said that, there are some signals that you send to strangers. Signals you send to strangers. I would be very bold to mention it because I have personally intervened on my own. You see that all those junctions, all those traffic light junctions, there are people that wear uniform. They call themselves, I don't know. Yes, and in fact, VIO and some security agencies, they embarrass everybody that comes to the town. I was a witness. One of the lawyers, he's a lawyer from Benin, just drove to Warri, and by that traffic light, nothing happened. The traffic light just beamed and he stopped. Only one of his tire leg entered that, and they said harassing him. Luckily, I was at his back and I have my mopo. I said, go and dislodge them. And he left. So many people, the man swore, he was weeping, that I will never come to Warri again. The same thing, VIO. They will anchor all the trailers that come to Warri, whether you want to deliver goods or not, they anchor you and make sure that. So most of the people, if they are coming, if they say Warri is your destination, they say, I'm not coming. I'm not coming, say, because those who want to come, they will say, let me come in the midnight. And even in the midnight, I don't know whether they don't sleep. They sit anchor them. So those are the things that we need to address because it's a risk, security risk to those who are coming to do. In fact, it sends very bad signal of the town. A lot of people are embarrassed and the rest. There are better ways of collecting revenue. Again, local government chairman should understand that the only way to make money is not sending boys to harass people. Because if you look at it, if you have an office in this town, you discover that they will give you the demand notice over 20 from local government. One on planning, one on this, one on that, so many. For only you, only one come to pay all the over 20 bills to local government. And again, the state is also bringing their own. This is not the best way to generate revenue. In foreign countries, if you discover, even if you commit traffic law, the camera snap you and send bill to your house. Quietly, you will pay. If you don't pay, you cannot renew your paper, because if you want to renew your paper, they will see it there. We can devise more civilized way of collecting revenue without actually fighting, without sending signal that there's war in Warri or war in Delta State. But meanwhile, you are paying your dues quietly. I think those are things that the government to address. Let us be more civilized. Nobody has patience anymore. Everybody is worried about living because condition of living is depleting every day. And don't expect that it will be better tomorrow. Because when we look at economic variables, it's because over time and all over the world, inflation is a problem that takes the price of goods and services to be high. So you must have to struggle to live up to the inflationary tendency that's existing in the economy. And they are always going up. Are we together? So I want the governor to look at it very critically. Let the local government, let the state government devise better way of revenue collection rather than using people that will come to fight and break. Before they break your signboard and carry it away. That is barbaric. We are getting more civilized. We are getting more educated. We are getting more aware. And so that is one of the things I want us to look at. Having addressed security issues in Warri, naturally, like I said, ethnic bigotry. I am the owner of this, I'm the owner of this. Those should be gone. I ask a question. If all of us even pack and leave the place, will you occupy all? Are you going to pay for all the houses that were built in the place? After all, you sold the land for us. So let us leave issues of ethnicity. Let's leave issues of religion, like Pastor said, and let's live as one family. Warri used to be a one big family, and we must go back to that old belief. Having said that, I also talk about infrastructural development, which, of course, I want to commend the governor. He's doing a lot. But before I go there, let me talk about this. Our Warri port, if you want to make Delta State a hub, an international training center, in addition to what the pastor has said, you talk about the airport. If the airport are made international, of course, you should expect that visitors will be coming in. You know what you mean by international flight. International people will be coming in. And when they come, they are going to look at opportunity for investment, having seen that the place is secured. We're in Warri when you have Westminster region. We're in Warri when you have Land and Marine. You are in Warri when you have Zincom. You are in Warri when you have West Africa Atlas. And so many of them, you cannot count them. These companies were there, and the white men were there. Even Nigeria region, they were all there. The white men, all of us meet outside. We want to go and eat, we meet ourselves, and the rest. But now, if they come, either you carry DSS, SSS, and army to guide them. So, which is expensive. They will no longer want to come. So, I think we should address that very seriously, and it's weapon. Now, Nigerian Ports Authority, we have a port here. We have a port in Saple. We have a port in Koko. We have a port in Burutu, four seaports. What is happening to them? That our goods have to go to Lagos. And for your information, Burutu, that is Escavos Loading Bay, is closer to Lagos. So if any, and again, if the ship land in Escavos Loading Bay before it moves to Lagos. But it's closer to Warri. It's a few minutes away from Warri. So it would have been better that the ship, they land here. But unfortunately, goods are not coming here. The state governor needs to tell us why. These seaports are not revitalized. Is it political reasons? Now we're happy. The country, or Delta State, have joined the league of the country. They are all under the political APC. So I think the president, you ought to listen to our cry that Warri Port need to be put into use. Cocoa Port need to be put into use. Then, of course, the other port within the data need to be put into use. In that way, if the port is working, the airports are working, I think that there's nobody that go to the port go to Lagos that is so congested, all the eastern states will be having their goods imported through us. And you know, if you were here when MPA started, some of us were doing part-time there. When they were offloading wheat, all these companies like Olo Drinks, Super Brew, all of them, they were offloading their wheats, and they were always there. We do part-time job there. Nobody will be idle. Because Pastor is looking at that. If we remove Keke from the road, what would they do? There are so many jobs that can be done. Immediately, that port is put working. All the ports around are put working. You will discover that there will be economic activity. There will be flow. And let me tell you again, if the port is working, do you know that we can export goods? You're not aware that people are exporting gari. You're not aware that people are exporting beans and food items, yam. I can tell you, myself, I'm a witness. I have to send one container to London on food items and drinks. They like our Malta Guinness. I sent a container load of Malta Guinness and Indomie, and I have to go to Lagos. Why all those trouble going to Lagos to go and sell your goods? The transport you move there from here to Lagos. You have a lot of people selling gari around. If you go around, you see gari, see granite everywhere. These people, if they want to export, they go to Lagos, and that increases the price, the running cost. If this port is working, I'm going to tell you that a lot of agricultural products will be exported from this port, and a lot of people will be gainfully employed. So Warri Port is a must-do that we want to tell the governor. We have to see how you can use political will, use your contacts, and whatever you need to do to make Warri Port work. I mentioned a few days ago, and to one of the executive assistants to governor on this Warri Port, and he gave me some assignment that go and find out what are the bottlenecks. The only problem is that smaller ships, when you get to Escravos, you have to transload. That's the problem, which means we need to dredge the port to accommodate bigger ships to come in. I'm aware Julius Berger is also bringing their pipes through Warri Port. So if we do a little tinker with the port, I know that we are going to get it right. And of course, that is going to increase the economic activity. I want to talk again about agriculture. Pastor said we should not quote theory, but I want to tell you a little theory about Rostow stages of growth. Rostow is a development economist that talked about how communities can grow from their traditional position to develop economy. And in one of his recommendations, that for any economy that want to grow, must start from traditional society, which is our villages, our cities around us. That is the traditional society. What do they need to do? You start with growing agricultural products, given that our land is very fertile. Pastor, look at it. If you are going to Asaba through Abraka, Eku, just look at the vast area of land, Ubiaruku, to all those areas, and down to Asaba. That is by the left. You see vast areas of land, unused, untapped. If you take the other side, from Ugeli down to Isoko, down to Kwale, and down to Ibuzo, vast area of land, unused. What are we doing with those resources? They are fertile land. They can stand to give us crops that can feed the whole state. Because in looking at development, one of the things we look at is consumption. Consumption is a factor of two variables. Consumption, autonomous consumption, and consumption based on income. You can raise your income from agriculture and also consume. Are we together? So if the government can be so sensitive to say that every local government, as available as they have land, can, as a matter of fact, make sure that they take some hectares of land, let us define there by 100 hectares, and invest in agriculture with private partnership. I'm very confident that if every local government, 25 local governments have such land, assisted by government also, I'm sure that everybody will be gainfully employed. I always talk about farm settlement. I have discussed this in so many forums before, that the government can establish farm settlement, put schools in such vast area of land, put sporting activities and accommodation, and leave the people to farm. People will farm and be to pay you rent on those lands. And of course, if we do that, I'm very confident that a lot of people here will be employed. You have people who do fishery, some do cropping, some do animal husbandry, and all of that. They are all involved. You will see, if you go to foreign countries, I know that the state has made attempts, I may be right, EA to governor, that they went to Brazil to go and look for, to meet with those people that rear cows. A lot of cows in Brazil, and of course, they have a lot of dairy products from the cows, very rich cows. I think they have met with them, and that I don't know how far they've gone. It will be good for government to follow up with that activity, then open grazing for them. You know, I was in Houston, I was in Dallas. When I travel from Dallas to Houston, it's about 4 hours drive. If you look at the area, over half of the journey, about 2 hours drive, was only where you have cattle ranch. You see over 100,000 cows grazing in that settlement. And of course, today, Texas is exporting meat to other parts of the world. I think we can do that in Delta State. The land is available. Like I said, cropping, animal husbandry, even fishery, they are available if government can really intervene. And there's private partnership with Deltas. There's something I want to mention. At times we say, where is the money? I have said it before, and it is possible. Delta State is blessed with financial mongers. You have people like Tony Lumelu of UBA. You have people like Jimovia of Zeniba. These are big banks. And in foreign countries, what happened? Big banks finance projects. There's nothing wrong in developing infrastructure that Delta State have a rail line that run to Asaba and so and fro. You may not even need to bother yourself driving your car. In a few minutes, you have used the rail. You're already in Asaba. You go to work and come back and leave your worry and walk in Asaba. There will be movement of people. There will be movement of goods and services. And of course, when I mention issue of port, do you know that if this port is working, all the Southeast people, they will take over these warehouses from here to Asaba. They will have warehouses where they put their goods. Apart from the one that they will move through the roads to their various places. Warehouses will be filled in this place. These are the economic benefits that they can bring in. So, if money is a problem, let the government bust all these financial mongers into one room, into a strategic session. Bust them in. I've said this in one of the forums before, that the best thing is that bring them into one room, because if you go to foreign countries, you see that some of the big banks, they have invested in infrastructural development. For instance, they can take up the rail project and build, operate, and transfer. It's part of their investment. It's their money that they invested. When you build it, you collect your renters, and at the end, you transfer after so many years. When you recoup your renter plus profit, government can bother, and they have the capacity to do it. Then again, things like the roads. Yes, government is fixing them. It's fixing the major roads. It's commendable. We want to thank Sheriff for all that he's doing. But we can still do more. Why I say we can still do more is that the internal roads are still bad. A lot of them are still bad. Most of the internal roads are bad. So those areas, you should look at them. Then the major thing I want to talk about that the state need to look at critically, that we energize automatic growth, is energy. Energy. So if you ask me, the first solution is energy, energy, energy. Energy in the sense that if you go to ECN, I'm sure you know where ECN is in Ughelli. That Jeremy did that by Ughelli, towards Ughelli. Yes, where you have the ECN. There are gas turbines. Gas turbines. They supply light to people, but the power they have generated, they cannot use because there's no distribution. I think that if Delta State government can take initiative to provide facility to distribute those energy generated, the whole state will be lit up. And I tell you, if there is energy in Delta State, automatically the whole world will move here. There will be population growth. There will be urbanization. Warri will enter Ughelli, Warri will enter Saple, everywhere will be urbanized. And of course, look at the synergy. Look at the benefits of, an urban area. Like you go to Lagos, if you are selling pure water, you sell a lot because population growth, population explosion. Delta State will explode in population, economic activity will improve, and the rest. I don't want to take much of your time. Let me talk also about tourism. Many people are not looking at tourism. But in most part of the world, after you have gotten the airport, the airport, you've gotten the seaport, everything working fine, the next thing you need to look at that will bring in people. Some of us will travel. I'm sure you may have taken your children to the Disney World in the US. If you see population, in fact, you cannot count. It's very important that we should look at tourism. I just showed some site of tourism that in Delta State. Let me just tell you. Some tourism sites in Delta State that we're not looking at. You know, you have the Mongo Park House. You know, Mongo Park came to Ibuzo. So there's a Mongo Park House where the Lada brothers anchored at that time, so many years ago. Then the Nana Palace. The palace built by Chief Nana Olomo of Ebohin, a powerful Shekri chief and merchant. Of course, that one is still existing. You have the Living History Museum in Koko, showcasing the history and culture of the Warri Kingdom. You have the Kwale Game Reserve, a rainforest reserve with diverse wildlife, and of course, including reptiles and aquatic life. That's what we want to go. We normally watch in London Eye when we go to London, but they are here. Then River Ethiop. This is one of the rivers, a river with a unique source at the foot of a giant sick cotton tree, flowing through several local government areas. These are sites for attraction. Then things like Abracatoff and Country Club, a popular destination for horse riding, polo, and relaxation. And so many, there are very many that I have here that the government need to look at to see how you can develop them. Because when you provide security, when you provide routes, when you provide the airports and everything, people need to visit the state. And when they come, they should have some recreational activity that will make them, feel at home and know that they have gone to visit Delta State. My final words so far is that government may have many laws, but need enforcement of existing laws. Because if a government official is here, if you call the government official, he will come here and catalog a lot of things that they have done. But these things were just on paper. They have not been implemented. So government should enforce these laws that they have already enacted and ensure that they are monitored to ensure compliance. And like I told you, I don't want to belabor you with too much speech. These are the few things that are in my head right now to talk about. Thank you very much.